In the world's history, there have been plenty of bad guys who have brought terrible misery and suffering to a lot of people. These people have been nasty, violent, and even committed extermination on a scale that is hard to understand. Their deeds had long-lasting effects that changed the course of history, and their names are still linked to bad things. In this video, we will talk about 15 of the evilest men the world has ever seen. We will look at their lives, the horrible things they did, and how they changed the world. Before we move to the video, subscribe to our channel now, and also press the bell icon for regular updates. Let's get started. Number 15. Pol Pot. Pol Pot, a communist leader, took over the little country of Cambodia by force in 1976. He may have been the only person to command to kill a large number of people in the country he ruled. He used to make his people live in unimaginable conditions, such as not having access to food or health care. During the 4 years he was in charge, he killed nearly 25% of the people in Cambodia. The place where he killed his people became known as the Killing Fields. Number 14. Nero. Next, we have Nero Claudius Caesar Augustus Germanicus, who is known to be Rome's 5th emperor. He was famed for becoming drunk, killing poor Christians, and killing politicians in horrific ways. In the year 64, all of Rome caught on fire, which destroyed the city and killed a lot of people. Of course, Nero was the one who planned this. During his time in power, Christians were tortured and killed in horrible ways. Number 13. Osama Bin Laden. Osama Bin Laden and his crew were behind many terrorist assaults, including the September 11 attacks on the World Trade Center and the Pentagon in 2001, which killed almost 3,000 innocent people. Al-Qaeda also said it was behind several other assaults that killed and hurt thousands of people around the world. Number 12. Saddam Hussein. Saddam Hussein was a cruel tyrant who governed Iraq for more than 20 years with an iron fist. He did a lot of bad things to his people, such as torture, killing a lot of people at once, and using chemical weapons. His government was known for being quite cruel, and he was known for not caring at all about human rights or the rule of law. Saddam's aggressive foreign policy led to 2 terrible wars with Iran and the US. Millions of people died and had to move because of these wars. He also used his power to make himself and those close to him rich at the expense of the people of Iraq. Because of all he did wrong, around 2 million people died. Number 11. Genghis Khan. Genghis Khan was the ruler of Mongolia from 1206 to 1227. His desire for murder led to several wins, including taking over a significant section of China, but also to the deaths of many people. People think that when his soldiers ran out of water, they drank the blood from their horses. In Iran, 15 million people were killed by his troops. Between 20 and 60 million people died during his time in power. We still don't know how he died. Number 10. Heinrich Himmler. Heinrich Himmler was the leader of the Nazi Party of Germany and the SS. He is best remembered as the man who planned the Holocaust of the Jews from 1941 to 1945. Around 1925, he joined the Nazi Party and never looked back. From then on until 1945, he was one of the most dangerous Nazis. He gave the order to kill around 6 million Jews and about 500,000 Russians who lived in Europe, specifically Germany. He was yet another powerful person in history. Number 9. Leopold the Impaler of Belgium. When he was king, he was in charge of the Congo Free State, which was almost 76 times bigger than Belgium. He got everyone to think he was going to help Congo. But from 1885 until 1908, when he was in charge, the country was in a state of fear. Over 500,000 people died from diseases, while many more died from hunger. He slaughtered more than 10 million Congolese, or half of the country's people. All of this was done merely to get more money and power. Number 8. Joseph Stalin. Although Hitler is considered the worst person of the last century, there was another person from the same period who was just as bad as Hitler. Joseph Stalin was the USSR's general secretary and leader. During the 30 years he was in charge, he made some bizarre rules regarding how much people had to suffer and die. Estimates say that as many as 10 million Russians may have died during his time in power. Not only did he hurt the Russians, but also over 1.5 million German women were raped under his cruel rule of 30 years or more. Number 7. Kim Jong-un. The people of North Korea have been in trouble for more than 70 years. Kim Jong-un, the current leader of North Korea, is just as cruel as the people who came before him. Since he and his predecessors took power, The people of Korea have been coerced and brainwashed to worship him and them. People in North Korea still have to deal with cruel things like being starved on purpose to gain power, not being able to improve the country or its people, and being killed if they break the rules of the supreme authority. Number 6. Idi Amin. At the 7th spot, we have Idi Amin, who was in charge of the army and took over Uganda while President Obote was at a summit in Singapore. He said that he would make Uganda rich, but he called himself president of Uganda a week later. As the leader of Uganda, he was called the Butcher of Uganda. He slaughtered individuals by giving them to crocodiles, said he was a cannibal, and cut up and rearranged the limbs of one of his wives. Between 1971 and 1979, when he was ruler, he slaughtered and tortured almost 500,000 people. He passed away for no reason. Number 5. Vlad the Impaler. People think that Dracula was based on Vlad the Impaler, who is also known as Vlad Dracula. He harshly ruled Wallachia. He had enemies everywhere around him, so he would do horrible things to make others afraid of him. In the 1500s, everyone in Europe knew about how cruelly he punished his opponents. One of them is sticking people in the buttocks with poles, and he never tells them to stop until the pole comes out of the person's mouth. Number 4. Ivan. Ivan IV was the most horrible person of his day, which is why he is also called Ivan the Terrible. He became the first Tsar of Russia and was in charge of a big section of the world. Between 500 and 1,000 individuals were slain every day in front of him and his children. Not only was he mean to other people, but he also battered his pregnant daughter-in-law. People say that when his son got furious at the way his father treated his mother, Ivan IV killed him. This was just a very cruel thing to do. Number 3. Amelia Dyer. Amelia was one of England's most terrifying serial killers. During the Victorian era in the UK, she was said to have killed several babies she cared for over more than 30 years. She used to look for women with newborns who would hire her as a babysitter so she could kill the babies. She hid from the police for years, but she was finally caught when physicians noticed a sharp surge in the number of babies dying while she was caring for them. She did bad things. Therefore, the government tried to punish her. Number 2. H.J. Holmes. Herman Webster Mudgett was born in 1861, but everyone knew him better than Dr. H.A. Holmes. He was America's first known serial killer, which may sound startling. He was very smart and had wanted to be a doctor ever since he was a child, so he used to practice on animals. At age 25, he got a job at a pharmacy in Chicago. He established a secret chamber in the building where he worked where he would torture, beat, and kill people. After he was found guilty of killing Benjamin Pitezel in 1895, he ultimately said that he had done the same thing to roughly 27 other people. He was put to death by hanging a year later. Number 1. Adolf Hitler. Adolf Hitler was the Chancellor of Germany from 1933 to 1945 and the leader of the Nazi Party. He was one of the smartest, most innovative, and most cruel dictators in history. He was a big reason why the Holocaust happened and why the Second World War happened. He thought that Jews were the cause of every problem, so he tried to get rid of them. Because of what he did, more than 50 million people died. On April 30, 1945, Hitler killed himself in his bunker. It's hard to imagine. He used to be a good artist and member of a Bohemian group. Thank you for watching the video. If you really enjoyed it, then give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to catch our next video, which we planned for you. You've got only 5 seconds, so act fast and don't miss out.